What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic weekend. We're here. It's a little after 5:30 on a Sunday. Soon enough, we'll be talking birds on Sunday, so I cannot wait for that moment. But right here, right now, we're 11 days away from defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles football returning. Let's effing go. But on Tuesday, we've got ourselves some cut downs. So got ourselves some things to talk about here tonight. If you have anything on your mind, I'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments, who you think's making the roster, wild trade, a signing, whatever you think it is on your mind. I want to hear about it. Let's go. So 53-man roster will be set on Tuesday. And obviously after that, things will happen. Guys will get placed on IR. The practice squad will be set the next day, all that great stuff. We will continue to talk about that here. Now, today, I'm going to give you my projection on those things, but first want to touch up on some of this news that went down. In case you missed it, Sam Howell was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. There is a video on that. Go check out that breakdown. Lewis Cine placed on, he was waived. He'll go to IR if he's unclaimed. Yeah, talked about it there. Go check out that video. And right after that news, Tanner McKee talking about his thumb injury, not going to be ready for week one, possibly. So, Sam Howell, better suited for that QB3 spot than Kyle McCord or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We talked about it. They were not good at all. And look, McCord needs some time to develop, maybe DTR as well, but they weren't getting the job done. Now you're just going to, have Jalen Hurts and hope that he's playing the whole game and everything's fine. Don't have to worry about it. But Sam Howell's a better backup that can hand the ball off and do some basic plays, I guess, try to teach him the playbook here. Within 11 days. But, it is what it is. Tanner McKee will be the backup here. It looks like maybe he'll miss a week. It just, you hope that everything's all right. Maybe you elevate a practice squad guy. But, yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was waived then. So we do know one player that will not be on this roster. Surprised I didn't have him making it either, which you will see here shortly. But that is what went down so far today. But with McKee, he is someone that could definitely be getting some calls and teams wanting a quarterback that can start games. And I think Tanner McKee is definitely capable of doing that. So who knows, man? You get yourself a much better quarterback in Sam Howell. So you can check that video out, everything we talked about. But we can get into what we're talking about here tonight, and that is the 53-man roster projection. And I will show you what we've got going on currently. You guys that have been following along, you know everything that's happening, but in case you missed it, got your back. Now, you've got McKee's finger is worse than originally thought, no doubt. And Ron, hold on to your britches, brother. I'd like to get through my intro first here before we get over to the comments. But go Birds. Joe, my man, appreciate you tuning in. Philly Flyover, let's go, my man. Hope you're doing well. And, I think we all know he was going to be gone, so no surprise there. And actually, it's not finally. They made it happen before any of the other ones. So he's the first one. But Bob, my man, hope you're doing well. Brian, yes, indeed. Kelly, let's effing go. Hope you guys are all having yourselves a great weekend. I'm here to talk about this damn roster. And, we've got practice squad talk as well. So we're going to talk about all those guys. And should be fun to go over here. Lions release Hooker. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, there's a lot of players that are going to be out there. Man, whoever's selling you Howell's better than McKee, wouldn't give them the time of day. Clearly, Tanner McKee is a much better quarterback. But let's talk about what we have right here, right now on this 90-man roster. All the guys that have been competing throughout training camp. We've been talking about it. Now, we know N'Kobe Dean, unfortunately, on the PUP list. Johnny Wilson now on the IR. So those guys will not be included here, but you know what's going on. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, those of you that have been following along, maybe you want to pause this, whatever, you can see what's going on and the key down at the bottom, who the rookies are, whether they're draft picks or undrafted free agents, guys that were free agents or traded for. You got the reserve future signings, everything going on with this team you can see here. These were all the guys that are competing, and you will see the updated depth chart at the end of this show here, but these are all of the guys that we had so far. At this moment, there have been other guys, but this is updated. So here is a bunch of depth pieces fighting for jobs. And this was a little tough for me, man. I switched a few things a few times, and I'm sure it'll be wrong, but that's perfectly fine. I've got a lot of hope in some of these younger guys, and maybe some veterans will make this squad. Maybe they won't because of the vested vet stuff. We'll see. And then the special teams department talked about a lot of guys competing, and having that versatility, showing they can help in other departments, always a plus. So some of these guys really hoping they can show that in the return game. Not sure anyone really showed enough that they're going to make a roster spot because of that return prowess. So we'll see. But let's jump into this bad boy, and you guys can let me know what you think. I'm going to show you, the offense, defense, and obviously, with the special teams, we've got three guys there: a kicker, a punter, and a long snapper. So 3 rostered, 0 guys that were cut. Now, at one point, we did have Christian Johnstone there competing, but he is no longer there. But we got the new long snapper in the building. He was a little banged up with that neck injury. That's why we had the other guy here. But that was only for a few days. Hewlett, good to go. So those 3. Now we've got 50 guys to figure out on this roster who's making this team. And again, for me, this was a little complicated at times. I really like some of these players, and hey, we'll see how things go. But let's rock and roll here, and let's go. Hot and ready. I know you are ready to rock and roll, dude. Let's go. 53 projection. Yeah, I don't know about that, Brian. We didn't even get into it yet, but we'll try to do what we can here. We'll see what actually happens, and then I'll update you when we get the actual news. But let's start her off with the offense here. Quarterback. Now, Sam Howell just added, I think that's because they want to have him here. And with McKee, having his little injury there, don't think he's going on IR because they say just one game. So possibly just one game. I'm cool with that. McCord, Thompson Robinson. Don't know if we see them down the road, maybe on the practice squad, but you've got Sam Howell here now. So I've got 3 quarterbacks being rostered. And then maybe, once McKee is healthy, you want to do some other things, try to get Howell onto the practice squad. I'm not sure if they want to do that or keep 3 throughout the season. Intriguing, now that you've traded for him, you gave up some draft capital. Do you really let him go at any point? So maybe you trade Tanner McKee. I don't know. Once you get him up to speed, I don't know. Now, I have running back. You guys let me know how you feel about quarterback. But a running back for me, A.J. Dillon did show he is that 3rd guy. I really like Montrell Johnson. Derek Powell was fun to watch. Keelan Robinson had his moments. But I think we go with 3 here. And, to me, A.J. Dillon, he can do it all. All 3 of these guys can. It's an exciting running back room. So, hopeful some of these guys can make it on the practice squad that are cut. But this is how I see the Eagles going with the offensive running backs here. And I also have them keeping a fullback. And I thought about it. Do you try to get this guy on, the practice squad? But this is a valuable piece. A kid that is an emergency linebacker, is a great special teamer, but really looked good as a fullback. Had that great catch in the last preseason game there. So I think, he has proven he has earned a roster spot, and I hope that he does get that roster spot. So I do have us keeping a fullback. He didn't have any competition here this offseason. So, yeah, got us have a fullback on this roster. Love it. Now, at wide receiver, this was very complicated. And I didn't know if I wanted to keep Darius Cooper because, do you chance it? But he's so talented. It was like, okay, do I get rid of Aniyah Smith? But I like Aniyah Smith, and I think he's got, promise. And I think with more development, he can definitely do some things, and he helps you in the return game. That, to me, is huge. I don't want Cooper to Gene back there. So Aniyah Smith, to me, Dotson can do it. Devontae Smith can do it, but I don't want to use those guys. And, they were trying Mechie there. Cooper can dabble, I guess, but I think Aniyah Smith makes it on the fact that he can help there, and there is some hope. Johnny Wilson will miss the season. That sucks. So really kind of opens the door, for maybe they go somewhere else and get a bigger receiver to add as well. You've got Elijah Cooks here. I don't think he makes it. Or Williams, Marshall, Morin, Adeyemi. I think, you kind of know that guys get banged up sometimes, and, you need depth and you need some return help. I don't know, though. They might stick with 5 there. So for me, it was rough between Cooper and Smith. but I ended up keeping both of them. I like the Mechie addition there, guy that can start, but he provides great depth. Dotson and he, can come in and really help out. So I like those 3 and 4 position there at wide receiver, and 5 and 6. We'll see what happens if there even is a 6. Let me know how you feel about that wide receiver spot. And then at tight end, I'm just running through this, and then I'll stop when I get to the offense. But Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra. So I think, I almost had Granson here making the roster, but, you can elevate these guys from the practice squad, figure it out. To me, this is something they'd like to do is run with 2, elevate a tight end, and you've got a bunch. And if you can add some to the practice squad, find other guys you like, that's, a little bit of a cheat code for you if you want a 3rd tight end. God forbid something happens to Dallas Goedert, though. I don't know. So maybe you keep Granson here. I was really torn at this tight end spot, and I do like E.J. Jenkins. So I'm hopeful, these guys can possibly find the practice squad, but tough decisions ahead for Howie Roseman and the gang. And then finishing the offense up, we've got the offensive line, and I've got 10 offensive linemen. This was another tough one for me. I had Toth making it over Keegan, but then I had Keegan over Toth. Then I just had Keegan and Toth not making it. I'm a little torn, but we know the starters. Hell yeah. But the depth pieces, I've got Lamb. Almost didn't even keep Lamb because Pryor can help you at tackle and guard, the same as Darian Kennard. So I almost didn't want to keep Kendall Lamb. And then you've got Lake and Vakahali here. That's why you see the +1 there. He doesn't count. So it's really only 10 guys. Drew Kendall, the rookie. So I got 10, but it could be 9. Don't quote me on that. I just feel that this team, they really sometimes they struggle with depth, getting hurt on the line. So depth is a key. I think a lot of these pieces are valuable. Some of them younger, like Keegan, that you want to keep around. That's why I kept him over Toth. But Toth, you're hopefully going to make the practice squad. I don't know. Again, this was a tough one for me. We'll see how this plays out. But it is like trying to storm out here again, maybe. The weather getting a little rowdy. Lord help us. But hopefully this connection stays. It's being weird. Hopefully you guys are still able to see what's going down here. But let me come over here. JP, my man. Yo, hope you are doing well. I still all jacked up. Can't tell. But trying to get through it. Ready for work tomorrow. But I hope you guys are all doing well, man. Really appreciate you. Watch anyone else. Let's see if someone out there can help. Well, there's always going to be people that can possibly help. The Eagles have lists of people they didn't get to draft, whether it's this year, the year before that. So they've got their eyes on everything, and I love that about the Eagles. So I'll keep you up to date with anything that happens. And, I like the addition there of Hal. See about running back. Yeah, man, I like what we got going on at running back, and I think BVS at fullback. I'm pumped up. Doyle, my dude, hope you are doing well, my friend. Let's talk some birds, my friend. And there's a lot going on with this roster that I just told you on the offense. Now on the defense, it's like all over the place. I don't know, man, how it's going to end up. This is one of the more fun years where it was just like, I have no idea. I tried not to stress myself out about it. And look, that's the point I was making there. I don't think you could. I think a lot of people see talent like that, and we have a history of, letting people go and watching them shine somewhere else. So let's not do that with a young man that, shows promise. And look, you can hone in his special teams, something like that. That'd be awesome. And hey, man, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad you guys look forward to this. I always look forward to this as well. Always love talking birds with you guys. But this is, something we work up to. We talk about all these battles, and I think there's a lot of excitement here. So, Lynn, I hope you are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm a fan of his. It's just you haven't seen it. You've seen flashes of it. But I need to see way more development. I think as a 6th receiver, Cooper could overtake him as that guy. But as a returner, I think that'd be great. So we'll see. Fan of Pryor Lamb. And they definitely had their struggles. I will say that. But they're the veterans. And the rookies were way worse. And I don't really like anyone else playing tackle. They're versatile. Lamb might not make this squad. Pryor, I was really torn. I thought he could push for, real depth there, but he struggled for sure. I agree there 100%. Steven, my man, thank you very much for that. The super chat is very, very much appreciated. It has been one hell of a long weekend, but I did my best. I wanted to actually put this out last night, and obviously that didn't happen. But we're here, and we're talking about it tonight. And, this whole off season, we've tried to break down every single little move. And it all comes down to this. People, I don't watch until the regular season. I get it, man. The games are more fun. This kind of stuff is, trivial or boring to you. I get it. But we sickos like to talk about everything birds and get to know it all. And that's why we're going to even have a practice squad. So, Steven, thank you, my friend, for that super chat. And everyone else that is tuning in, I really appreciate you. And, Joe, I think Granson could make it on this team, and I don't think Coop would last. And 11 days, my friend. Less than 2 weeks. How exciting it is. But McKee is trash. Yeah, sure, man. Eric, I know you're always coming in with wild stuff. Hope everything's all right, man. AJ is taking a nice under his wing. Yeah, man. They're always going to try to help these guys. Yeah, dude. I don't know. So there's always some drift stuff going on. But we're not here for the drifter stuff. We're here to talk about birds. So, let me know how you feel about this offense. And Steven, again, thank you for that super chat. And look, all I do is something I love and try to provide something for you guys that enjoy, the kind of content off the field, on the field, the matchups, the battles in the off season, the cap stuff, things that I enjoy that I think others would when you don't want that misinformation and all the negativity that's out there. So I'm just trying to do my part here, and you guys keep doing your part, showing up, hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, all that stuff really does matter. That's why I thank you for it. I hate how much I have to say it and like the repetitive stuff, but I mean it, man. You guys are awesome. Cannot thank you enough for the support. So it's my pleasure to do this kind of stuff, and I'm ready to rock and roll here. I really think that, this team is going back to back. Like I said last year, they're going to build a dynasty. I stuck to it. Everybody tried to tell me I was crazy, and now you see. We got the Super Bowl. Now we need to see back-to-back, and then, of course, we would need to win one more for me to get that dynasty. But just stay patient, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. You will see what I've been talking about. But off-season definitely flies by. And we talk about when that countdown starts at 99, how wild it is. So let's stay excited. 11 days away. We're going to be dropping that banner and then whooping that Cowboy ass. Go Birds, my man G Fish. Let's go. Hope you had a great weekend, my dude. There's always trolls, and it's just people wilding out. Fracture my fingers. That sucks, Ron. Hope you're off that injury list here soon. And hey, dude, you know it's coming. And look, sometimes that's why I just flew through it, because I don't. People are joking. Sometimes people are wilding out. People are bringing in what they hear from the media, and I get it. The media is wild out there, always trying to push their negative stuff. We're good on that. But you saw the offense. Whether you're watching this right here, right now, whether you're watching this later, you think of something later, tell me how you feel about the offense, whether you agree with something. Maybe you would get rid of Lamb. Maybe you would keep Granson. Maybe you'd keep another running back, quarterback, fullback, whatever, wide receiver, whatever's on your mind. I want to hear about it. Now, I'm going to jump into this defense. Oh, boy, and we've got a lot to talk about here, and I really, really, really think that this team – has a lot to think about here on defense. It's probably going to come down to the wire. You're going to see my practice squad here shortly, my friend. And no doubt, Lynn. Let's jump into this, get into the defense, starting with the interior D-line. This was one that was hard for me right off the bat. I had Byron Young making this squad at first, and then I came back to it. I had to get rid of somebody. I don't even remember for who, but Byron Young, I like him. I think he's got promise. I think Vic Fangio really likes him. But I really like Dave Hall. And I know that Ty Robinson is part of this future. So, the top three are Carter, Davis, and Ajomo. Robinson's 4. 5 could be Byron Young. Maybe I'm just being a fan of Gabe Hall. I don't know. I'd like to see maybe 6 of them make it. That'd be great. But I had to let somebody go. Byron Young was that guy. It was tough for me, though, man. I really like Byron Young. But I love this interior D-line. People ask why we traded Thomas Booker. This is why it was tough for me to even want to cut Byron Young. I think he could make this squad. Let me know how you feel about those D tackles. I'll stop after the defensive line because there's a lot to talk about with this defense. So let's talk about the edge here. Nolan Smith, Jalickson, not stop, but I'll come back to the comments. You know what I mean. The starters we know, they were drafted for a reason. They're here. They're the future. Let's go. Uche, Ojulari were added in this offseason to be a part of this rotation. I think they will do that. Let's go. Now, 5 and 6. Man, to me, it was, you definitely got to keep 6, right? Because I didn't even want to let go of Okoronkwo. But even O'Shawn Mathis tickled a little bit talking to me. But Patrick Johnson's good enough that maybe Antoine Powell-Ryland isn't kept. Maybe you try to pass him through waivers. So maybe you only keep 5 here and you keep Byron Young. Because I was like, do I keep Antoine Powell-Ryland over Byron Young? But you got a lot of D tackles. Do you need edge pieces? Yeah, we kind of do. And I like Antoine Powell. So I was freaking out. I was losing my mind. I love the edge position. I like veteran presence there, but I think Uche and Ojulari can be that with Patrick Johnson. Nolan Smith's getting into that. Jalen Hunt, rookie year last year, so he's still young, but they can, build up Powell-Ryland. And, yeah, that was a tough one for me, man. Let me know how you feel about this D-line. If you would keep a D tackle over an edge, or who you would keep over who I have. Whatever's on your mind, let me know. And linebacker, I think, here, talking about the front, 7, 8, whatever, Zach Vaughn, Campbell, hell yeah, Trotter, Munden, Nakobe Dean on the PUP list will probably, continue to stay there. And I think, missed the first 4 weeks. But I think Campbell with Vaughn is awesome. Dixon, Gant, Campbell, maybe one of them makes the practice squad. I really liked a lot of their game, to be honest. So that was a tough one for me. But I do have some guys making the practice squad here. So check that out at the end here. But let me come back over to your comments quickly. And then we're going to talk about this secondary. So that'll be finishing it up. And I told you already with the offense, the D-line, it was all so confusing. I was losing my mind. I really just, it was all over the place. I really like Gabe Hall, so I couldn't let go of him. But it was hard to keep 6. If I'm keeping 6 edge, let me know how you guys feel about that. Should be intriguing there. McCord played in camp. He played in the preseason. He had a lot, but definitely had his struggles. But he's young. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But getting into the secondary at corner. Oh, boy. So I think really what you should do is just get Stephon Gilmore, let go of Adoree Jackson, maybe try to trade Kaylee Ringo. But dealing with what we have here, I try to just, keep it based a little bit. But Coop, we know they're the top 2, of course. Who wants to be the other outside guy, though? Jacorian Bennett, I hope, gets up to speed with this, playbook and figuring whatever else out he needs to. Sky's the limit for him. Mac McWilliams, I think, has a very, very bright future. But, my God, Bennett just got here. Adoree Jackson, I almost left off. I was going to cut him. I really did have him off. But I think he might be your starter. So, Kaylee Ringo's banged up right now. He just struggled. He's not the answer anyway. But you have to have somebody starting. And if you don't think Bennett is ready yet, you don't want to get smoked, your first game. So Jackson's been here this whole offseason. Maybe you don't feel Mac McWilliams, the rookie, is ready. So you kind of got to keep Adoree. And I think you could try to get rid of Kaylee Ringo in a trade if that was the plan. You could try to keep him around and continue to develop him, which I'm totally for. You don't have to get rid of him right now. I think you could get rid of Eli Ricks instead. He had his struggles. I like Perry Nickerson, but, he's Old Man River, veteran here. I love him, maybe making the practice squad. Castro Fields, Woods, Johnson. I just don't have those guys making it. But it was tough to keep 6 here because nobody really jumps out where it's like, yeah. But I think Jackson kind of has to start, and maybe Bennett gets up to speed after week 1. Jackson gets burnt 20 times, benched, and then he's cut. I don't want that to happen, but that could be a possibility. And Kaylee Ringo, with him banged up with a quad injury, who knows, the severity there. Maybe he gets IR'd and we try to just stash him there and let him develop next year. I don't know. But this one was a tough one for me. So let me know how you see it playing out. And I'll show you my depth chart here at the end too. But this is how I have the roster. And you can see at safety, I've got 4. Another tough one, you saw, was let go earlier today with that injury designation, so he could end up on our IR. We'll see. Andre Sam, that was tough for me. I really like this kid. Max and Hook, did not have him making the squad. Maybe he can make the practice squad. But, Blankenship, Brown, Makuba, very bright future. And then McCollum. I really like Tristan McCollum's game. I don't know. Maybe Sam makes it over him, but I just think you keep McCollum around. He's a versatile defensive back that I think really helps you out. So I kept 4 safeties there, and that is your 53. And again, I'm going to show you my depth chart here. And of course, that practice squad I know you all want to so desperately talk about. And as I joked about the other day, you're probably going to add some random quarterback because they're not here on the roster as QB3. You saw that happen. Just like the practice squad, you're going to have random dudes because there's guys they like on other rosters that will be cut. So just stay patient and, we'll see what they do. But a lot of moves will be had, and I'll try to keep up to date with that. Ringo anywhere for anything would be cool, in my opinion. But, hey, man, if they want to develop him, I get it, man. He's got a lot of skill, and that size, it's hard to find. So maybe you stay patient there, but we'll see. Yeah, and that's what I've talked about. This is very important who cornerback 2 is because Quinyon Mitchell, one of the best corners in the game, and Cooper DeJean is the best nickel corner in the game. So they're not going to want to throw at them very much. Coleman is an Uncle Vic favorite. Yeah, and that's another one, Duck, where Byron Young was hard for me to get rid of because I know he loves him. But I like McCollum a lot myself. I think, he provides depth all over the place. So you don't have to keep 10 defensive backs because I have 4 safeties and 6 corners. You could try to keep 9 because of the versatility there, but it really depends. If Ringo goes to IR, gets traded, that could really change things. So, yeah, and that's, and that's key. We talk about speed as a wide receiver. People, it's 4.3 speed. This guy, if that was everything, they would, every 4.3 guy would make a roster, but it's about route running in their hands and, everything that goes into it. But the same goes for a corner, man. This dude really just doesn't have it. And people talk about moving him to safety. I don't think he has that either. He should be a corner with his skill set, and that's what he needs to try to be. If he doesn't, maybe he bulks up, figures it out, learns to play safety, but he's got a long way to go. And I don't know if they want to jump ship yet there. But if you like him so much, Georgia Bulldog, you want to keep him around, I'm not against it. I do like the kid. It's just unfortunate he is not the outside corner of the future here just yet. It's just not happening right now. And, yeah, really, we've talked about that. And we talk about a lot being able to just have a play where you're reacting to things rather than having to think and then react, because these younger guys or new players to the team, they're learning a new system. You realize, you see these things, and with him, he has his moments. And, yeah, when people talk about him being a safety, it's like, look, I know he's got physical attributes, but you don't see that when he's trying to tackle people. And, I just really think that for me, this is a kid that got a skill set that can be molded. And if you haven't found it yet, it's not always promising. But some people, they take a little bit of time. Who am I to say, his career is over? You know what I mean? He's still very young, got a lot of talent. We'll see. And if anybody's going to find it, it's going to be Vic Fangio. But let's take a look at this practice squad. And I'm just using players that we have. I would, could be a real sicko and go out there and try to figure it out, but nobody's been cut yet. So once we see who's cut, we can talk about some interesting pieces that the Eagles here right now. These are some of the guys I just thought, running back, I really like Montrell Johnson and Powell. Clearly wanted to keep both of them around. We'll see if that happens. Kyle McCord, I want to see him develop for the future. I like the kid. I do. He could be your emergency quarterback. You can make Hal inactive for the games, whatever, as your emergency. Just develop McCord. You don't ever really need to use him. Elijah Cooks, big-bodied kid. Maybe you want to elevate him, try to figure something out there. Taylor Morin, maybe you develop him as a return man. I know they like to keep a couple of receivers, so that's why I did that. Don't know that they keep Avery Williams. I think someone else will be able to grab him from us as a veteran return man. Someone will want him. Kylan Granson, I think he should have a chance to make the roster, so I put him here. EJ Jenkins, same thing. I like both those guys. And then Olin Pierce, bright future, big size, great attributes. So try to mold him with Jeff Stoutland there. And then Brett Toth, that versatility. If no one takes him, love to see him on the practice squad. Now, Byron Young, someone's going to grab him. I really don't know if we're going to chance that. We'll see. Got him here on the practice squad. Okoronkwo, got him. Dallas Ganton, Chance Campbell. Although I do like Lance Dixon's skill set a lot. He's fun to watch, so maybe he can make the practice squad if one of these guys gets nabbed. Eli Ricks, Perry Nickerson, Andre Sam in the secondary. I don't know. I think other teams will take a shot on them, but I made this very, very quickly. So that's the practice squad. Now here's the depth chart. And, these are the guys that I have, to start week 1. And a lot will be changed, IR and all those things. I think when the game actually happens, it'll be completely different. So, yeah, here we go. You see the quarterbacks. You already saw all these positions, but just showing you who I have as the starters. Nothing changed here other than obviously Tyler Steen taking over at right guard. But Dotson still wide receiver 3. You got Matchy Cooper Smith there. I think Calcaterra. And I don't know at wide receiver. You got to figure it out. Yeah, we'll see there. Offensive line, again, I don't know that you keep Lamb and Baca Holly will be on the practice squad as exempt. I don't know why I still have him there. My apologies. What I'm doing there. Drifting off to C. But you got Kennard, you got Matt Pryor. You've got some veteran presence there. So we'll see what goes down. But that's how I have the offense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, look, Byron Young, not here, but you've got Robinson and Hall. So that's where the depth for Jomo, Davis, Carter. Then on the edge, Smith, Hunt, Uche, Ojulari rotation is nice. Johnson, who can help you on special teams. Powell Ryland there. Then a linebacker, Bond and Campbell with Munden and Trotter as depth. We'll see when Nakobe Dean comes off that PUP list. Now at corner, I've got Jacorian Bennett starting. And again, it could be Adoree Jackson because I don't know that Kaylee Ringo is ready for that. I don't think he should be that guy. Mac McWilliams is a rookie. And this will be updated for when the actual moves happen on Tuesday. The key will be a lot bigger, but you could see what the colors mean and everything like that. But I do not have anyone other than Gabe Hall as a reserve future signing making this. So love that there. Come on, Gabe. But Tristan McCollum, Drew Makuba, you see his depth there. I'm very excited about this defense. And I think Campbell, man, as much as I love Nakobe Dean, seeing him there, and then Jacorian Bennett, obviously not Darius Slay, but we're hopeful that the young man can get back to what he was showing with the Raiders there when he had a chance to shine. He really did. So let's get that out of him. And, hey, maybe the sky's the limit for him, and he is, part of this secondary for the future. Then with all of that happening, here's your special teams. These are the guys that I had to use for, returner. This is why I kept Anaya Smith. Cooper DeJean, don't want to see him back there. Not sure how much they want to use Dotson back there. But Will Shipley is not there twice. I did not mean to do that. I wanted Adoree Jackson with A.J. Dillon. Regardless, you see what's going on. We have, guys that can return the ball. I love that. And remember, on IR already is Johnny Wilson and Nakobe Dean on that PUP list, as mentioned. But you could stash some guys here. Maybe, again, you want to put Kaylee Ringo there. Maybe some other guys after. And here's how it works. If you put them on IR right now, if that's what you would do to them, their season would be over, like with Johnny Wilson. So what would have to happen is they would have to make the initial 53. Then what you would do is put them on IR. So maybe that's what happens with Ringo. He misses 4 weeks, and then he comes back, or maybe they find a trade partner, whatever. But these are all possibilities. And you see how I have it playing out, but you let me know how you have things playing out. Love to hear from you, whether you're watching right here, right now, or watching a little bit later. I think this team is obviously showing that they are ready to compete again, and I'm all about it. Little G, appreciate you tuning in. Let's effing go Birds. Think the Gene will start outside. Hey, look, later down the road, if there are struggles there, you could see him out there. You could see Mac McWilliams starting inside. Hell, you could see Drew Makuba starting at nickel. A lot of possibilities for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I would like to see Bennett be that guy. That's what we traded for. We'll find out. He's only had a little bit of time in this playbook. We'll see where he gets. Like Pierce, name wasn't called during games, during practice. It means he's good and needs developed. No doubt, man. And a lot of times, it's a good thing. You're not sticking out. So we'll see how it works out for some of these guys. Cord, pun intended. Oh, they will definitely be cutting the cord there. I like that. I think Ricks is safe on the practice squad. Yeah, Ricks, he's shown he can be versatile, can play inside, outside. I like his game at times, but he definitely has his struggles. So you can take the chance, and if you lose him, no doubt. Projected right tackle. Actually, they've been trying him at tackle, at guard. moving him all over because he's never played football. That's why, I just plug him everywhere and always say that. So, no, he's not projected to play right tackle. They're just trying to figure something out with him like they did with Mailata. Give DTR a bust. Oh, he's already gone, my friend. He has already been waived, as we talked about on the show earlier here. So, hey, man, we knew he wasn't making it. We knew McCord probably wasn't making it, so that's why the Howell move is there. Barkley and A.J. Dillon. And look, man, Shipley is going to be playing over Dillon, and I can't wait for all three of them, man. It's going to be insane. And, well, that's what we talked about here earlier. Duck, you missed that, obviously. So he was waived with an injury settlement, or waived with the injury designation. So what that means is he reverts to IR if no one claims him. When on there, when he gets healthy, if they want, they can try to bring him back onto the roster, or they can let him go with an injury settlement. I think that's what's going to happen to him. So best of luck to him. But, yeah, we'll see. Maybe they get him back on the practice squad. My man Daniel tuning in. Let's effing go. Appreciate you, dude. Just about to roll out here. We just went through the 53-man roster projection and, of course, the 16-man practice squad for all you true sickos. Now, we got 69 players there. Technically 70 with Vakahali there as that international exempt player. But there it is. You can let me know how you feel about it, what you would change, who you would trade for, sign. We talked about Stephon Gilmore's out there. Justin Simmons, I know a lot of people feel we need a safety. I like safety. Corner, very questionable. Maybe you trade for somebody else. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's my projection. You let me know how you feel about it. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe down below, and join the family. Maybe share this bad boy out into the universe. But I appreciate all of you that took the time, whether live or watching this later. Really can't do this without you guys, so thank you for that. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. If you need anything, does not have to be about the birds. You know I'm always here for you, as you guys are for me. But have yourselves a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great week coming up, but that's all I've got for you. So until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me, sickos. Go Birds!